Hello, ETF fans. Mike here with a quick hitter. It's December 3rd. ETF Action just got done updating all of its category data packs, which are just in depth information of ETF rankings, look through analytics of all ETFs across all of our 100 plus ETF categories. And every month I go through and review these for accuracy and also looking for trends across different strategies. And something that really just kind of, jumped out at me today is when I was looking at the US large cap growth and looking at the concentration level of the top 10%, the weighting of the top 10 across these strategies. It crossed over 50% on average. So the average fund of the 100 and plus ETFs in the large cap category have over 50% in the top 10 names. And I just really, we know concentration is high. It's not a news story, but the large cap growth, I mean, that's a huge number. And I just kind of wanted to set the stage for you, show you how to look that up on the site. But I really want to show you what that means in terms of actual what you're owning when you own these large cap strategies. So I'm going to hop in to the member access platform. Looks like I need to log in real quick. Take 2 seconds. So hop into the platform here. And what I want to do first is let's just quickly take a look at the large cap growth category so we know what we're dealing with here. So I'm going to go into our Navigator tool. I'm going to set the stage for you by setting a couple quick filters. Take 2 seconds. Go into classification, equity, apply, composite, US size and style, apply, category, US large cap growth. All right, so now I've got that set. I'm going to get rid of some of these groupings. I'm going to add one additional grouping, and that is I want to know how the assets, this $1.24 trillion in US large cap growth strategies, 153 of them, I want to know, how it's broken down in terms of the implementation, meaning how they're weighting the securities inside of these strategies. So I drag down that implementation classification field. Now I can open this up. And the main point of this is to show you of the 1.24 trillion, 1.1 trillion, so basically all of it, for all practical purposes, is in market cap weighted strategies, right? QQQ, VUG, IWF. So, Russell 1000 growth, S&P 500 growth, the NASDAQ 100. And all of these strategies are market cap weighted, which means that the largest names by market cap get the largest weighting. So what does that mean in terms of if these strategies have such a high concentration in their top 10, what does it mean in terms of how much they own of a particular area of the market? That's where our ETF Stock Screener tool, which is one of my favorite tools, comes into play here. So I'm going to go into the ETF Stock Screener, and I'm going to set some filters here on my ETF classification. You can type in individual tickers as well if you know a certain list or a watch list. But I'm just going to keep this broad-based. Equity, size, and style, US. Equity, US. Large cap growth. So mimicking the same story that I did with the US large cap growth on the Navigator tool. Notice there's a few less funds here. That's because the categories include include like ETNs and things like that. The lookup, this stock screener tool only includes funds that are traditional long only strategies so that you can pull in relevant data. Now that I have these 145 funds, I'm going to hit this load ownership data button right here. I'm going to close the classification. And what you see here is I just loaded up every single company that's held inside those 145 ETFs. And I can see there's 2,437 stocks held across those ETFs, $85 trillion aggregate market cap. The aggregate ownership ties out to the AUM of the ETFs, so 1.24 trillion. And then I can see the aggregate ownership. So these stocks own about 1.45% of the outstanding market cap of these companies. Obviously, if I added in blend and stuff, that number would go way up. But I really want to highlight and showcase the large cap growth space. So what this does is it tells you that, hey, Nvidia is held in 129 of those 145 ETFs. $135 million is held in Nvidia. I'm just going to sort by ownership dollar here. And we can see Nvidia is the number one holding. Nvidia has an average weight, so a total weight, dollar weight of all of these strategies of 10.9%, Apple 8.6, Microsoft. So if I just kind of focus in on these top names, I've already done the math for you, but essentially you end up with, over $750 billion in just the top 10 names, on a weighted average basis of aggregate ownership of that 1.2 trillion in AUM of these ETFs. So basically a huge amount of allocation. This is a great way to find where across the ETF market, what are the top holdings across different categories, across different factors. And it's really just a really powerful tool to do that. But again, the quick hitter here is the takeaway is, concentration is big because of the market cap weighting nature of the current market and the Mag 7 and all that kind of owning more of the biggest companies. But within large cap growth specifically, it is really extreme. And, not sure I'm telling anybody to do anything other than be aware of it and how to use our tools to identify it. If you have any questions, reach out to team at ETF Action. I hope you enjoyed this quick hitter and have a great day. Thanks for watching.